Chandler, what's yours?
Mine is that, and I'm want to preface it with the same disclaimer as Mr. Murph over there that I don't even necessarily believe it myself, but it wouldn't totally shock me. I'm going to say the Yankees don't trade Miguel Andujar and he starts at least one playoff game this year, despite him requesting a trade.
That
Because
opens a whole can of worms.
But I mean, if you look at it right now, I mean, Gallo and Hicks are just putting up useless ABs every single day. You have a team that's out there that's literally, as we've mentioned this whole episode, on pace to break records. They're on pace to literally be one of the best teams of all time, if not the best. You can't have two just gaping holes in your lineup and two traditionally good
Gaping.
hitting spots. I mean, they're useless. They're fucking
Yeah,
useless.
but
They
they're
would
never gonna
actually,
sit though,
yeah, but why?
because the implications.
It's the implication.
I'm just
Sorry,
saying, if one
Had,
over
had,
the
had to
other,
be there.
That was an inside
But-
joke. You wouldn't get it.
I don't get it. But this is what I was going to get at is because the hot name around the market has been Benintendi, whatever.
David
At the-
Bednar. You said David Bednar wrong.
At the end of the day, it has to be one outfielder's going to have to go, and Cashman has shown reluctance to trade prospects. I mean, for a while, other than the Gallo trade, which was a desperation move. I stand by that.
Yep.
But
We
he's
knew
been
that in the moment.
yeah, but he's been reluctant to trade prospects. So and Benintendi, believe the Yankee tax or don't, it's going to cost him a pretty decent size package, and he's going to. But I don't know. It would not shock me one bit if we get to this All-Star break or the trade deadline, whatever the fuck. It's around the same time, you know what I mean. So we get to the trade deadline. They kick the tires, the famous 3 words that we hear every year. It doesn't happen. And then Miguel Andujar finds his way into some sort of role to where he maybe starts a couple games of the playoffs. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it wouldn't totally shock me.
Yeah,
I agree
don't know.
I agree with that. Wouldn't totally shock me.
I think he gets traded.
He's asked for a trade before and they
So-
didn't honor it.
Yeah, I know.
So
Second time's
Rella,
the charm.
let me throw in. So the rounding third that I put by the wayside was that Andujar is going to be put in a package for Wilson Contreras around the deadline.
I don't want Wilson Contreras.
I don't necessarily either, and that's why
Yeah.
I was desperately looking for a better one. But
I
I read an article today about how he's as good as gone from the Cubs, and it kind of makes sense because you're not really losing
he's
much
having an
defensively,
incredible
and
year
he's
this
having
year.
a pretty good
He's
year.
no Trevino.
He is though.
I'm kidding.
the one thing is, like, as good as Jose Trevino is, Wilson Contreras is great, and I think he actually is that good, and he's been a highly touted prospect slash just catcher in general. Like, everybody knows Wilson Contreras is a good catcher. The Cubs are gonna blow it up. They should trade him. He's got value now. He's having a career year, and he's not going to stay with them. I don't know what his contract situation looks like, but he doesn't
He's
fit.
a free agent at the end of the year.
Perfect. He doesn't fit the bill of somebody that is going to be contending with them in the next 5 years. So, I could see it. Like I said, as good as Trevino has been, he's a clear upgrade over Trevino, and he's just a good catcher in general. I think Andujar is better served in. I've been saying it a bunch, and I'll say it again, just for that, just so we have tape, so that when Chandler makes the annual clip that I predicted that David Bednar was traded to the Yankees, we can use this material, mark it down. But I think value wise, Andujar. I think a lot of people, when we talk Andujar trades, a lot of people have to tender their expectations for what we're going to get back from Miguel Andujar, because Miguel Andujar, although he was having a good year this year, he hasn't got enough run that other scouts and GMs for other teams are going to be like, yep, that's the Miggy that we saw in 2016, 2017, or whatever it was, 2017, 2018, that nearly won Rookie of the Year and almost beat out Ohtani. We always say all the time he should have won, but regardless, it's been a lot removed. He's had a lot of ups and downs. It's like, it's what have you done for me lately? And Miguel Andujar kind of hasn't. He's requested 2 trades in that same time. He's been doing well, not a big sample size recently, and that's not enough to just be like, to all scouts and GMs and say like, hey, that's a top prospect again. Scouts and GMs love prospects love prospects and shit that haven't played games and haven't had the opportunity to fuck up and show their flaws in any way. Miguel Andujar, although he has had success in the major league level, he's also had a lot of failure, and regardless, even if he had a little bit of failure, scouts and GMs just over exaggerate those flaws, and just when you're in a trade room, it's almost like you're in an arbitration hearing. It is exactly that. It's like, that guy sucks for this reason, that reason, this reason, and for that reason, I don't think we're going to get much or as much as people think for Andujar. And that being said, I think a guy like David Bednar, who doesn't have a lot of respect on his name, and you look at his Baseball Savant page, it's a lot of red. He's a great guy. He's, from what I can tell, he's a great guy. He's funny. He had a good funny a post-game press conference where he apologized for saying shit or something like that. That was funny too. But regardless, he's closing games for a ball club that doesn't have a lot of save opportunities, and he's doing it. Give him some high leverage spots. He's got high leverage spots on the Pirates. Throw him in the 7th, 8th, or whatever. Just, you can never have too many bullpen arms. So I think an Andujar for Bednar, or Andujar for Bednar and something else, like, I think it's the value makes sense for something like that, and I would be very happy with it, having an extra depth piece in the bullpen over just Andujar, who's just he has options. They're gonna keep him in the minors, and they're gonna let Hicks and Gallo just continue to try and shake off the rust and break out of these slumps.
I think a trade for Andujar is going to look almost identical to the Luke Voigt one.
Exactly.
I think you're going to get a high upside,
Yep.
younger talent in the minor leagues. He's high upside, low downside. See what happens. He's a boomer bust prospect. He's some kid that throws 102, can't throw it within 10 feet of the strike zone. See what happens. That's basically his value now, and it's sad to say because I am a very noted Miguel Andujar lover, but if he were to get traded, I'm still not convinced that it's going to happen, and maybe that's my Miggy bias talking, but
it is.
And I don't even know that it's that, because I don't think that they don't trade him because they don't have faith in them and they want to get it and they want him out. I don't know that Brian Cashman is able to value him like you're talking. People need to recognize that his value's down. I don't know that the front office is willing to bite that bullet and realize that his value's down. They've shown an unwillingness to do so in the past, and they have for all of their prospects. So that's more a slight at them, not so much Miguel Andujar. But if he does get traded and they honor his request, which, you know what, I think they should. He deserves to get the opportunity. I know he's not going to go win 10 MVPs, but he deserves the opportunity to be an everyday player. If they trade him, I see it being something like that. They're not going to get David Bednar for Miguel Andujar. They're not going to get they're not going to get a major league contributor with Miguel Andujar.
Andujar, yeah.
But I know he could headline it, is what I'm saying.
He's not going to headline it, though. He's going to be a throw-in if it's something like that. He's going to be...
For David Bednar, they don't know how to give it that much.
All right, can the David Bednar thing, like, I don't think Andujar fits that package. No, it could happen, sure. I don't think Andujar is part of that package. I don't think he makes sense for the Pirates at all. I do, however, and the reason that I thought the Contreras thing was interesting is because I think he does fit that a little bit. Because, we have a pretty extensive trade history with the Cubs in recent years. And, 2016 was a long time ago, but, that started something. That's where we got Glaber from. We've had history with them. Clint Frazier, who is basically the most comparable person in the entire MLB to Miguel Andujar in terms of being undervalued by the Yankees, is currently on the Cubs.
He was signed,
and they have a lot of guys that are his exact same age. What's his name? Nico Horner's a little bit younger. Like they're trying to build a semi-young base, and he's a guy who is that young age and MLB ready when he gets the chance. And I think they can find a spot for him, and I think that they would value him. Not enough for him for Contreras straight up, obviously, but I think that he would be enticing if they go for Contreras at the deadline.
Especially since the DH is in the NL now.
That's going to cost so much more than that, though. You're going to need him. You're going to need... I mean, obviously, this is way...
Yeah, we're not building out the entire thing. We're just saying he could fit there.
Yeah. No,
Wells might be in that conversation. I don't know what their catching situation
enough building
is
out the entire thing. I agree with you, though. I think he's a good fit there. But I don't know, man. Did you guys see what Gary weighed in on this conversation?
Yeah, he said that he should be starting in a major league team, and that's the first time in my life I've ever.
Yeah, but like just because he requested a trade doesn't mean like they're just gonna go ahead and do it.
No,
Like
he's
like
done it
this.
before.
Yeah.
No, I know, but I'm saying like
Third.
I know, but I'm trying to say is like Andujar, as much as it sucks, and as much as I want to see him play, as much as he deserves to play, like he is very valuable to this team. If someone goes down, if Hicks and Gallo just like, I don't think he's gonna start over them because I think that I don't know. It's the name value. It's just like who they are. It's who they were. It's like they're kind of like breaking out these slumps. Like I don't see a world where they just like cut one of those guys, like option one of those guys. They're not going to do that. They're going to keep playing them if they're healthy. So the only situation that happens is if one of them gets hurt, then he can bring up Andujar to play some games, and that could very well happen. I mean, Hicks hasn't played a healthy year his entire fucking life.
Yeah. Just because you're upset doesn't mean...
Yeah, just because you're upset doesn't mean you're going to get a fucking trade. Yeah. And he's so much more valuable to us in the organization than he is just trading away for a prospect this year. Like, if we want to win this year, which that's the goal, we need to have him in this organization.
Absolutely.
If inevitably someone gets hurt.
No, I'm saying... Sorry, Rella, I wasn't referring to you. I'm saying, Damon, absolutely right. Because... And this goes back to what Chandler was just saying about him, being a part of the postseason roster too. Like the Yankees, if the package comes along, basically the Yankees are going to handle him in whatever makes sense for this year. So if that means he's a package that's going to help them win now, i.e. Contreras or i.e. Bednar, then maybe he's going to go. But they're not this year going to just give him up for some wild thing in high.
There's absolutely no point, especially when he's like MLB ready, very good player who's valuable to the team. There's no way.